know,
Boy, this is nice here.
that's a jeweler's
I know it.
tool. Lathe.
Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna get out of
You're
here.
doing fine, Gurney.
I don't want to be in the way.
Well, John, you just talk like there's no camera around now. Pretend that you don't even know about the camera, right?
I don't. I've got it stretched out right now. I wanted to show you this little set here. I don't know whether you remember this or not.
Look at them bits. Well done. That's numbered. Cleveland Twist Drill Company. But that a sales tool.
I got that at a show, and of course that's very old.
Yeah.
And but this guy had it, and he made this box,
Oh, okay. For
and
display.
it's such a great caddy because
Now, what's the box? Is the box oak?
it's no, it's walnut.
Walnut.
Okay, yeah, that's
It's
it.
black walnut,
Did a nice job. on
and
it.
it just works great. There's an
I want to, if I may, I want to look at your books. That tool company.
There we are.
That the tool companies that sent us, you know, the tool guys. There's a little blue one that's missing in mine, and I believe it was on water wheels and stuff in New Jersey. And I lent some books out to my brother, and he never returned them.
Oh, that stinker.
So,
We'll get him.
no,
We'll get him one of these days.
I like your collection of anvils over here, John.
Aren't them cute?
They are. I've got a.
You guys be careful that you don't get tangled up in these cords on the floor.
yeah, we're see that.
That's out at the Lantern. He, a friend of mine, got real sick and he ended up dying, and they brought him home from the VA hospital.
I'm going up there next week.
Are you? Well, they let him go home on the weekends. So I went over to see him one day, and this fight. He was getting mean, you know. He said nasty things to his wife and his sister and her brother-in-law, the brother-in-law. And so on a Sunday morning, I went out. I want to get the story and about the tool. I had helped him get him out there and set him up and everything, you know. And he says, "Hey, you honey, you go out and get that compass plane, and I'll show it to you after a while, and give it to John." I said, "No, we'll put that in the sale. Don't worry about that. We'll sell that." "No," he said, "I want you to have that. I told you I was going to give you that for helping me to get this stuff together." And so I said, "No, I don't want to take that, Carl." He says, "Go out there." So she went out there and come back in with it. So I took it home. And the next day, I went on a Sunday, I went out. And when I come in Sunday morning about 10 o'clock, his wife went to the kitchen, and his sister-in-law, or sister and brother-in-law went to the front room. Got out of the dining room there. And so I was talking to him, and I said, "Boy, Carl, you got me in trouble last night." "How?" He said, "How?" I says, "Every damn time I rolled over in bed last night, I rolled over on that compass plane." He got to laughing. He laughed. And she come out of the kitchen, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And they come in from the other room, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I got a kick out of that.
Well, tell me about the. Okay, what have you got here?
That's a gavel. And they made this for the judge. My brother did, and so he made an extra one and give me one. That's to keep the gavel clean. Isn't that cute?
Now, how about the shavings here?
Okay.
You got a history there too, I know.
I'll get a plane and show
Spill
you.
plane.
A
It's,
spill
it's for
plane,
light,
it's called.
to make light in your
Okay.
fireplace.
Okay.
We have a special plane that makes them.
This is one. That's kind of the most used, I think. But they put this on the edge of the bench, like this, and they take the board and they run it through. Of course, you have to go with the grain, you know.
Mhm.
This is to go this way, and run that across that, and it takes these spills right out of there, just like that.
Okay.
Isn't that something?
I could use a couple boxes of those for my wood burner.
That's what they're for, and that's one. And then my brother made this one out of a piece of oak there, and it does the same thing. You put this in the vise and just run this across, and it just spits them right out of there.
Did your brother have background in woodworking, carpentry, or machine
Metalwork.
work?
He's a sheet metal man.
Sheet metal.
Okay.
But he loves tools, and we was born with tools in the farm. My dad had a blacksmith shop, and that same brother was in high school, and I was in grade school. My dad was plowing the garden with a plow with the harness with the reins around his here tied around his back. See, so that he wouldn't have to hold them. And my brother, my dad had dynamite. He kept the caps up in the corner of this corner on a board, and over there he kept the dynamite. And so Art got one of them caps and he put it on the anvil, and he hit that with a hammer like that, and it took that hammer right out through the roof. And the horse,
Just a cap.
just the cap.
Yeah.
And the horse bolted, pulled my dad down through the garden, clear over down through the ditch, and up on the bank on the other side. Holy cow! I took off for the barn. I was scared to death. But it's just lucky he didn't hurt
Yeah,
himself.
you didn't kill him.
Oh, it's just lucky. But that's the Spill Plains story.
John, do you have those books that the tool collector gave us to each of us? That I could look at, see if you have it. I'd like to know which one it is.
If I could locate them, Bernie.
I just don't think you have it together.
I don't have them. I
Okay.
don't have them together.
Okay. That's the question.
What was it? The specific? What was it about?
It was about water wheels down New Jersey. And I believe it was blue cover. About year big on it.
And that would have been. There wasn't one of them.
No. It was I believe it was blue cover.
See, there's Vanishing Landscapes, Dairy, Early American Boy. Early
That's
American
what I
Duel.
had. That's what I had. One or two
Emerson Wood.
of
Huh.
them. Eric Stone, he really had it, didn't he?
Oh, he flat did. He flat did. And I'll just wipe them down with a cloth and with some real fine oil on them.
Yeah.
See, so they don't rust. I could. Do you remember when you was a kid?
Top Gun.
Yeah, they had little round caps you put in here.
I don't remember that.
You dropped it in here, and you'd load that, man, they really cracked. Bang! You never didn't remember that.
No,
Where
no.
in the world did you find that little thing at?
Oh, some guy come in and had it, and he comes to me when he gets hard up. So
That's where the money's at, huh?
He run into this mound where the shovel was working on a Saturday morning
No
in
kidding.
this sand mound. And when it went up, with it to go over to the truck, why the stones fell out. He's, "Hoop, I'll hand dig us tomorrow." And so that was in the Cincinnati Enquirer, and that was an article about him finding that Chief's grave.
E. Clark,
Now,
that's
if I
his
remember
brother.
right, that was down in New Ross area, wasn't it?
Well, this was down on the river, Ohio River, and it was down by between Florence and Patriot.
Did he get all these out of that then?
He got all these out, and he also had some skull bones. But I made this box at Central when I was a senior, and I didn't put them in there because they kind of turned me off just
Yeah.
a little, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry I didn't put them in there because they got lost. See, that's when you put it all together and keep it, well, then it stays together.
Yes.
But there's some of the chief's teeth and a bone from the chief there. And that one black stone back there, when you put a drop of water on that and rub it, you've got black paint.
Hmm.
The minerals in that. This happens to be when my father died. My stepmother married a guy, and his name was Tom. And old man Blakely could lay bricks, 50,000 bricks in one day, paving bricks. 50,000. Now, he got more money when he laid them that fast. But he could lay that many in one day, and then he did it. And they put an article in the paper, and so the boy, he got this out and run it into the.
That's history.
That is
irrecoverable.
And he takes axe. We had a big oak tree. It's a white oak, and it got hit by lightning. And some collector out here by New Haven wanted some of that oak, and I said, "Take all you want." Well, he called me. He said a lot of it had splits in it like this from the lightning. But he made a hammer, and the hammer that he was making was his wife goes to church, and the preacher's wife had a granddad in the Civil War, and he made one of these this kind of a mallet that you can strike here like this and take the handle out, see, so that it don't get loose, it gets tighter as you hit. So, and they said that was made in the Civil War, and he made that, and he had it from that time. Well, when he made one for me, see, and give it to me. So when he gave it to me, I said, I got one of them. I went down the basement, and here it is. Same thing, see. And Arthur gave me this, my brother.
The one over in Ohio.
He gave me this, and I had it on here, a tag. He had it marked very old. See, he knew it was old, and he knew it was very old. And but he didn't know that it was, back that old. That it was invented in the Civil War, and they had it in there. But it's the same design and everything.
Yeah.
It's got.
I have one like that.
This is the compass plane.
Yeah, I have one like that.
that
But
Carl.
that's a new one. In the box
Yes,
yet.
it's in an
the
original
box yet.
box. See,
Victor, iron circular plane.
and this is the one that Carl gave me for helping him get the tool.
Oh,
The one that gave you sleepless nights.
That's the one. Every time I rolled over, it woke me up.
no wonder. Boy, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been given to a better fella.
I don't know about that.
You notice the ball bearing rollers?
Yes.
Nothing cheap about that.
Well, those are roller.
There's a compass plane too now.
Yeah, this is
Another
a
one.
different type.
An older one. An older one. I have one like that. Oh, some more arrowheads. But down on the farm where I was raised, there was along a creek, and my brothers were always finding.
The Indians run them
Tomahawks.
cricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a dandy there. That's for heavy duty work.
My brother Bud come back from Cheyenne. He run away from home. He didn't run away. They just left. The kids did, you know, and he went west, and he ended up in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And it was cold, and he was hungry. And the mailman, he talked to the mailman, where can I get a job? He said, why don't you go out to the base? They're taking in soldiers out the base. They're in
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. And so he said, to go out there. And so he went out there and joined the Army. And he come home on leave, and he got home on the 4th of July, and I'd been shooting off Roman candles. And you know, if you put your hand back here and you light that, if you don't get your hand out of there, it just spurs right back on. It got me right here.
Mm.
And the doctor, they put me to bed. They got severe burns. I went into shock, you know. And I was in bed, sicker than a dog, you know. And the next morning he got home, and he brought me this along with this axe that goes with it.
Okay.
You just unsnap this and put it in the handle.
Oh.
And he brought that home and gave that to me. And boy, I got well quick. I got well quick.
Because you had use for that.
Oh yeah. And that case knife and this, you can shave. You can shave right on them with a knife. See.
You were how old then?
I was about 6, 7.
I was going to say, you had tools in your blood then.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I think you were born in it.
Well, yeah, and farmer kids, you know, they had tools. They knew what tools they're for. They've got a chance to play with them, and the others don't. I think it's
Burleywood, look at that.
That to me, I got from old Ramsey, Milo Ramsey.
Milo Ramsey, okay.
And this, they make sailing ships with this same curve on it. In other words, you go down in the galley down here in underneath there in the sleeping quarters. And he had this, and he bought this. It's 1885. The old man that made this and this, that's when he made it. And so he wasn't going to let me have this because he likes homemade tools. I said, no, I want that to go with this if I'm going to buy it for this money, all the money you're asking for this thing. Of course, a burl, you know, to get one made out of a burl, it's a lot of work.
Yep.
Takes a lot of hand work. And I finally talked to him, and oh, okay, he says. See, it's a screwdriver and a file.
Yeah.
Oh. Now Tim Allen, huh? Where in the world did you get that at?
Bruce Sinar in town here was the station manager out at Wayne, I think it is, WA&E,
Yeah.
and TV station. And he was presented that because they had a Tim Allen show on the television, and he got this, and he brought this over one day, and he says, John, he says, you got so many hammers. He says, I think you ought to have this hammer. I appreciated that.
Absolutely.
But that's Bruce Sinar, and he is like a professor of tools. He knows the history. Guys, he does everything. Where did I have that?
Here, up here. In here.
He got so many tools.
Now,
Unbelievable.
is that something you just recently acquired?
No, I've had that for about 5 or 6 years.
Oh, have you?
Well, that's reasons.
Probably every time we come here, there's probably something we didn't see the time before.
Well, you never can really. You can't see them all. You
It's
know.
on all it too.
When I got
everything he has, then you know.
when I got
Is it-
ivory tools, when I got that piece, I thought, boy, oh boy, I thought I had graduated. Just look at that.
Ivory.
Ivory. This book was my daddy's. It says Emmons C. Clark from F.A. McBurn. Presented to Emmons Clark as a reward of punctuality by your teacher, F.A. McBurn. Cricket on the hearth. You know,
You were
Dad,
good at something anyhow.
Dad, I think he only went to about the 5th or 6th grade, and then
My son-in-law would appreciate that.
he would. Was he collect Army stuff?
Well, he flies.
He flies.
Yeah, he's got.
Albany, New York.
In fact, he just bought a 1941 Myers, which is it's a biplane. There were only 105 of them.
In existence,
Yeah.
huh?
Well, made.
Made.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember now how many in existence, but he's completely restored it. And
He likes that.
yeah, well, he's flown. He's had. I think he got his pilot's license when he was 14 or 15.
I went up on a plane one time when I was a kid at Hagerstown, Indiana. Plane landed out in the field, you know. Well, when it lands out there, the people, they follow the planes, you know. In them days, they'd go down the road in a car chasing the plane. And it lit out there and it took up passengers for a quarter. And so I went out there. It had 3 seats, the pilot, and then it had 2 other seats in that plane, 2-wing plane. And so I was out there, and there was these 2 girls that was going up, and they was real fat. And so this pilot, he says, "Well, you take this boy along. This boy can sit on one of your girls' laps." Well, I didn't like that too much, but I wanted to go so bad, you know. I got right in there and sat on her lap. Wonderful ride because I could see out everywhere.
Ringside seat. Huh?
But she didn't like that. She thought that was terrible, you know. I got this from a
Print shop.
the guy had strips in here, and he put lens from glasses.
Oh, okay. Optometrist.
Yeah. And he's still taking care of my glasses and eyes. Now this one here, it's got patina on it. And some machinist really thought he had something there, didn't he?
Sure.
He did.
Sure, absolutely.
Slater's hammer, you know that, don't you?
No.
That's what when they put a slate roof on, they'd pound a nail in with this, but they'd make them holes in that slate to put the nail in. And I can't read that. My glasses not as good as yours.
How many slate do you think they broke?
The Belden Company, machine company, New Haven, Connecticut.
Lots of them. This is a German hammer. Thought that was neat. That you could do fine work. Silversmiths use that kind of a hammer, making stuff. Now there's a set of gouges. And they're knurled down on the end down here. Isn't that a neat set?
It sure is.
Was that undoubtedly for more ornate work?
I suppose so. Yeah. Somebody said, "Why don't you put them in a case?" I said, "No." I said, "I think this tells the story right here." they all stay together and they
Yeah.
don't get lost. And I don't know whether he had 7 sets or not. He might have. He might have.
Huh.
It's a pretty nice tool there too. Feel that?
See, it's slightly curved.
Huh.
See that?
Yeah.
Who made that? Buck Brothers?
I think so.
Yeah, Buck Brothers.
So now, do you try to catalog all of your tools?
No. No,
Did you ever try?
no, I never tried.
It takes all the fun out of it, huh?
Well, it just, it's mind-boggling.
That's true.
It favorite tool. Dad used this to take blood samples from the cows.
Really.
This unscrews off the end of here, and there's where that go right in the old cows there, and he'd pull this back, and he'd take it to town, and give it to the vet.
Now, was your dad a farmer all of his life?
Until the highway went through there, and he went down. It was during Depression, and we lost the barn. My two two older brothers, in a hay mow, they put bale hay or bale straw up there, and they made tunnels in underneath there.
Sure.
And then the hay got blowed over on top of it. Dad went down there one morning before daylight to get some hay down, and he had a lantern. And he stepped in one of them tunnels, and down he went in there, and the lantern went up and hit the roof, and the barn burned down. And I remember the school hack come, and I had to get on the school hack, and Dad was sitting on the bank looking down at the barn burn. He couldn't do nothing, Let the livestock out, and that was all, but he lost all the grain that he had in there and everything. And he was just sitting there in shock. And I come home that afternoon from school, and he's still sitting on the bank. And they put a highway through there, and he got a job on that highway. And when they got that stretch done, by the time they got that done, he was a foreman. So he was in construction then the rest of his life. So one of them sad tales, Now, whenever my wife gets real sick, I come down here and get this. She's got a big mouth. She's got a big mouth, and this is the only thing that'll do it.
No, remember, I'm getting this on tape.
Okay. Okay. All right, dear. I love you. Oh, shoot. And that's a bunch of tools. These are interesting. I got these not as a set, but one at a time.
Oh,
They're little edgers.
okay.
Yeah.
And that's a Stanley.
The little camper on it.
And as I said, I got these. This is a 29.
3/8. See, that's 3/8.
And
3/8.
that's $15.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Is patent in September '76, June and September they patented them, and this is unique that you put the hand on here and it don't change.
Okay.
You don't, otherwise them old wrenches, a lot of times the monkey wrench would get out of because you're handling it. But I thought, man, and that was something. And look at that. Look at the date. See the date, how well it's burnished in there? I thought that was something.
Absolutely.
This was from Germany, and it's got a lot of torque on that thing, and it's like an alligator. See it? Look at it. It looks like an alligator. See?
No, it looks more like a crocodile to me.
Crocodile. Okay. Feel that, Gurney. It's good. It feels in the house and painted tan.
Oh,
Then they'd put a dark wood on top of it, and then they would go over that and put a knot in it. and they had little knots, big knots, and so forth, and then they'd take a scratcher and make the
Grain.
grain in there. And
Is that rubber?
that's rubber.
That was a graining
and
tool.
it's home cut. See,
That
you
was a
can see
graining
how
tool.
see it's not too
well,
straight.
Well, sure, knots were.
But you wanted it not to look like that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I used to work with a fella that did graining, and he did a super job with it. The graining tool too.
Quick adjust, any size you want.
Mm-hmm.
Remember these alligators?
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Hooks, hangers,
Hangers
bronze.
for the dining room to
Yeah.
hold up the lamp.
Hey,